Hi guys, this is part 2 of the video where I'm talking about alkanes. Ne? Please note that guys, on this video I'll be just writing down the IUPAC names of organic compounds and also drawing the structural formulas if I'm given the IUPAC name. Are we together? So if guys, this is the first video you come across, please do check part 1 video where I'm talking about alkanes. It's very important because then I teach how to draw structural formulas, how to write down the IUPAC names, and how to move from condensed structures into structural formulas. It's very important that guys you watch that video. Okay, let's start with this one. And please guys, don't forget to share the video to your peers. A thing or two mentioned here might help them. Okay, for the first 10 questions, all I have to do, guys, is to write down the IUPAC name for these organic compounds. Ne? Firstly, I just have a straight chain, and my straight chain only has 3 carbons. It simply means that my prefix will be prop, because whenever I have 3 carbons, the prefix will be prop, and always the time, guys, please remember that the suffix for alkanes, it's always ane. So the IUPAC name for this compound will be propane. Okay, and then for the second one, on my parent chain, how many carbons do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only have 5 carbons. Are you together? And I don't have branches and stuff. So it simply means that the IUPAC name will simply be pentane. Are you together? And then for the third compound, my structure only has 4 carbons on the parent chain. The prefix will simply be but, and the suffix will be ane. It's very easy, guys, to name these things. I hope you are seeing that. Ne? For the fourth compound, how many carbons do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whenever I have 6 carbons, my prefix will be hex. And then I'll simply mix both the prefix and the suffix, and then I'll have hexane. Okay, for carbon number 5, what do I have? I have an organic molecule which has 3 carbons on the parent chain, and then I only have one such chain that has only 1 carbon. Are you together? So the first thing I need to do, I need to mention the side chain over there. I know that in carbon number 2, at carbon number 2, I have a side chain that's methyl, and then my parent chain has 3 carbons. So the IUPAC name will simply be 2-methyl propane. Are you together? And then for this one, I only have 4 carbons on my parent chain. So the IUPAC name will simply be butane. Let's pause a bit, guys. These two compounds are called chain isomers of one another. Why? Because they have the same molecular formula but different structural formulas. Are you together? They have the same molecular formula. How many carbons do I have in both? I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have 4 carbons, and then the number of hydrogen has to be 10. So both of these compounds have the same molecular formula but different structural formula. Are you together? Same molecular formula but different structural formula. So that's why they are regarded as chain isomers of one another. Okay, and then now let's write down the IUPAC name of number 7. Please note that, guys, don't make a mistake of saying this is a side chain. Are you together? You will never ever find a side chain at the terminal carbon. Are you together? So our longest chain is simply like this. Are you together? And obviously we only have one side chain over there, and we will start numbering our carbons closer to from the terminal, which is closer to the side chain. So this will be carbon number 1, carbon 2, 3, 4, and carbon number 5. Are we together? So I know that at carbon number 2, I have my side chain, that's 2-methyl. And then that's the only side chain that I have. So all I need to do now is to write the IUPAC name of my parent chain. That's 2-methyl pentane. Okay, and then question 8. Please guys, please remember that your longest chain, your parent chain rather should have the most number of carbons. Are we together? Do not think this would be your parent chain. Are we together? Your parent chain is this one because it has the most number of carbon atoms. Are you together? And whenever we number these carbons, we'll start numbering closer to the side chain. When I start numbering from the right, I can see that I'm closer to the side chain, right? That's carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and carbon number 7. Are you together? So I can see that I only have 3 side chains over there. This is my side chain, there's another one, and there's another one. Are you together? So I know that at carbon number 2, let me use a different color, let me use red. Carbon number 2, as well as carbon number 5, and since guys I have 2 side chains on the same carbon, I'll write I will write the position twice. Are you together? Hence I've written 2.5.5. And the number of side chains, I have 3 side chains, so this will be trimethyl. How many carbons do I have? I have 7 carbons. Remember that whenever I have 7 carbons, my prefix has to be hept. That's trimethyl heptane. And then for number 9, this would be our parent chain. And remember that guys, we will start numbering closer to this from the carbon which is closer to the side chain, right? If I start counting from the right hand side, I'll simply have 1, 2, and at carbon number 3 I will have a side chain. Are you together? But please check this guys. If I start counting from the left, I'll have 1, 2, 3. Whenever I start from the left, at carbon number 3, I have many things happening. Are you together? So whenever I'm numbering my carbons, I'll start counting from the left hand side because I have 2 sets of side chains over there. Okay, that's carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? Okay, so whenever I name this thing, guys, remember that guys, I have 2 different sets of side chains. I have an ethyl and I have 2 methyls there, né? So I must name these substituents alphabetically. Are you together? So whenever I name, I'll simply say this is 3 ethyl, because ethyl the word ethyl comes before methyl, né? It's 3 ethyl, and then I'll state that also at carbon number 3 as well as carbon number 5, I have dimethyl. The parent chain has 7 carbons. That's dimethyl heptane. Are you together? The IUPAC name of this compound is simply 3 ethyl and then 3.5 dimethyl heptane. Okay, and then we do have another one over here. This is our parent chain there, né? We will always number our carbons from the terminal which is closer to the side chain, right? So this will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Are you together? And then at carbon number 3 and carbon number 5, I have my ethyls there. And then at carbon number 2, I only have one ethyl. Remember that, guys, whenever I have two substituents, I must name them in an alphabetical order. So at carbon number 3 as well as carbon number 5, I have my diethyl. And then at carbon number 2, I have my methyl. And then the parent chain has 7 carbons. That's heptane. Please note that, guys, all of the time between numbers and the alphabets, there must be a hyphen. Are you together? We don't have to mix the two. Okay, I'm done, guys, with writing down the IUPAC names. Right now, I'm about to change the condensed structure into I'm about to change the condensed formulas into structural formula and then give out the IUPAC name. Okay, I have CH3, that's CH3, and then CH2, another CH2, and then CH3. All I have to do is to write down the hydrogens over there, and then give out the IUPAC name. It will be easy. I have 4 carbons, guys, and I don't have side chains, so the IUPAC name will simply be butane. Okay, and then for the other one, I simply have CH3, and then in between my compound, I have CH3 that should appear 3 times because of that number over there. And then at the end, I'll simply have another CH3. All I have to do is to write down the hydrogens. All I have to do is to write down the hydrogens. The IUPAC name of this compound, this thing has 5 carbons, so it will be pentane. It has 5 carbons on the parent chain, so the IUPAC name will be pentane. Okay, compound number 13. I simply have CH3, and then I have CH as well as CH3, and then I have a CH2 and a CH3. All I have to do is to write down the hydrogens. Please note that, guys, once you see CH3, if you come across CH3 in the middle of your compound, please note that you are dealing with a side chain. Are you together? You are dealing with a side chain. Okay, whenever we name this compound, guys, we'll always number our carbons from the terminal which is closer to the side chain. So this will be carbon number 1, carbon 2, 3, and 4. So the IUPAC name of this will simply be 2-methyl, and then my parent chain have 4 carbons, so that's 2-methyl butane. Okay, and then for compound number 14, I simply have CH3, and then the second carbon has 2 side chains. Are you together? And then I have CH2 and then CH3. All I have to do is to write the hydrogens over there. I hope you're subscribing in the meantime, Bantwana Bam. Okay, the IUPAC name for this compound will obviously count from the terminal which is closer to the side chain. That will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Are we together? That's 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So I know that at carbon number 2, I have my side chains there. Are you together? Since I have 2 side chains, that means I must write 2 twice. So that's 2.2 dimethyl. It's dimethyl butane. And then for number 15, I simply have a CH3, a CH, as well as a CH2 and a CH3. Then I have a CH and a CH3, and then I have a CH3 at the end. All I have to do is to write down the hydrogens. Okay, the parent chain, guys, should have the most number of carbons. Are we together? So the parent chain should have the most number of carbons. And I must start numbering my carbons from the terminal which is closer to the side chain. So this will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so the IUPAC name for this compound, I know that at carbon number 2 as well as carbon number 3, I have my side chains. So I'll simply say I have a 2.3 dimethyl, and then since I have 5 carbons on my parent chain, this will be pentane, dimethyl pentane. Okay, and then for number 16, I simply have CH3, a C, and then I have 2 side chains on carbon number 2 as well as CH3 over there. The IUPAC name for this thing, it's very simple, guys. My parent chain only has 3 carbons. I can see that I have side chains in carbon number 2, and I have 2 of them. So I'll simply say this is 2.2. It's 2.2 dimethyl propane. It's propane because the parent chain has 3 carbons, right? Okay. For number 17, guys, please note the difference between this one and this one. Want to see CH3 in between your molecules, that means you have a side chain. Are you together? But if you see CH2 and a bracket, it simply means that CH2 should appear this amount of times in your molecule. How so? Excuse me. You simply have CH3, and then you'll have CH2, CH2, and another CH2. Are we together? And then you will have your CH with the CH3 there, and then your CH3 at the end. Guys, I'm lazy to write the hydrogens, but you are dealing with hydrocarbons over there. Ne? We have hydrogens all over. So this will be your parent chain. Are you together? And then you will obviously number our carbons closer to the side chain. This will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I know that at carbon number 2, I have my methyl, and then since my parent chain has 6 carbons, this will be hexane. Okay, and then over here I simply have CH3, CH2, and then this carbon has 2 CH3s, and then I'll have a CH3 there at the terminal. Write the hydrogens. Write the hydrogens over there. This is your parent chain. You must start numbering your carbons closer to the side chain. This will be carbon number 1, carbon 2, 3, and 4. Are we together? And then I know that I'll simply have a 2.2 dimethyl. It's 2.2 dimethyl. My parent chain has 4 carbons, so this will be butane. Okay, and then for the 19th one, I I simply have CH3, CH, what's happening now? That's CH. Let me remove this so that this thing will make sense. Yeah, I have a CH and a CH3 at carbon number 2, and then I'll have a CH and then CH2 as well as a CH3, and then I'll have a CH with a CH3 over there, and then I'll have a CH3. Write down the hydrogens over there and then just name the compound. You can pause the video, guys, and name the compound, and then you'll compare your answer with mine in a few seconds. This will be my parent chain over there. For this one, guys, it doesn't matter where I start numbering my compound, how it's together. It doesn't matter because I know that at carbon number 2, I'll simply have a side chain. So this will be carbon 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 and 5. Are you together? I have 3 side chains. Two of them are methyls, and then one of them is an ethyl. Are you together? Remember that whenever I mention my side chain, I need to mention them alphabetically. So I'll start with an ethyl because it comes before methyl. So I'll simply say 3 ethyl, and then 2,4 dimethyl pentane. Okay, and then for number 20, I simply have CH3, CH2, and then the C has 2 ethyls, another ethyl over there, and then I'll have a CH with 1 ethyl over there and the CH3. So my parent chain will simply be this one. It will have 5 carbons. My parent chain will have 5 carbons. I'll start numbering from this will be carbon number 1, carbon 2, 3, 4, and 5. Are you together? So whenever I write down the IUPAC name, I do have substituents over there. I have 2 of them are ethyls, and then 1 of them is a methyl. Are you together? Remember that my substituents need to be mentioned alphabetically. So I'll simply say I have 3,3 diethyl, and then I'll simply have 2 methyl. The parent chain has 5 carbons, so this will be pentane. That will be pentane. Okay, from 21 to 30, guys, I'm given the IUPAC name. All I have to do is to draw the structural formula. I'm given 2-methylbutane. So the parent chain has 4 carbons. These guys always tell me about the parent chain. Are you together? The parent chain will simply have 4 carbons, and I know that at carbon number 2, I'll have a methyl, I'll have a side chain over there. So my structure will just look like this. My structure will just look like this. That's 2-methylbutane. Okay, and then 22, I simply have 2.2 dimethyl propane. The parent chain will have 3 carbons. This tells me about the parent chain. And then at carbon number 2, I'll have my dimethyl. Then your duty, guys, is to write down the hydrogens around. Né? Okay, and then number 23, I have 3 ethyl, 2.4 trimethyl pentane. Firstly, I must draw the structure of my parent chain. this tells me about the parent chain, right? Parent chain has 5 carbons. I'll simply say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then at carbon number 3, I have an ethyl. So this will be carbon number 3. It has an ethyl. And then carbon number 2 and 4 has ethyls as well. So this will be carbon number 2. That will be carbon number 2. And that will be carbon number 4. All you have to do, guys, is to write down the hydrogens over there. That's all you need to do, yeah? Then now let's go to carbon number. Let's go to compound 24. The parent chain has 5 carbons. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then at carbon number 3, I have 2 sets of ethyls because of this over there. So that's 1. Okay, and then at carbon number 2 and carbon number 4, I have my tetramethyl. Tetra means 4, guys, né? So I'll simply have CH3 over there and CH3, as well as in carbon number 4. And then all you need to do now is to write down your hydrogens. Your structure should look like this. Now let's go to 25. I simply have 3.4 diethyl and then 2.3.4 trimethyl heptane. Hept, remember that, guys, this always tells us about our parent chain, right? Our parent chain has 7 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then at carbon number 3, I have an ethyl. Let me write the ethyl with a different color. Carbon number 3. I have an ethyl there, as well as carbon number 4. Okay, and then carbon number 2, I have my methyl, as well as carbon number 3, I have a methyl there, and carbon number 4. Yes, structures is so. And then all you have to do, guys, is to write down your hydrogen bonds, your hydrogens. And then this is the structural formula for 3.4 diethyl, 2.3.4 trimethyl heptane. For number 26, my parent chain has 6 carbon. Why? Because I have hexane over there, né? And my parent chain has 6 carbons. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then at carbon number 3, I have an ethyl. Let me use a different color. Use a different color for ethyls. Carbon number 3, I have an ethyl. And then I have another one as well at carbon number 3. Also in carbon number 4, I have an ethyl again. Okay, and then carbon number 2 and 4, I just have methyls. So that's carbon number 2, methyl. Carbon number 4, I have a methyl there. All I have to do is to write down the hydrogens. So your structure will just look like this, but please don't leave it like this, guys. I'm just lazy to write because I'm trying my level best not to make a long video. I'm trying. Okay, and then that's 3-propyl. It was supposed to be hexane. Oh, madoda spelling. It's 3-propyl hexane. I simply have 6 carbons since my parent chain says hex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over there. And then at carbon number 3, I will have my propyl over there. No, it's not supposed to say hexane. It's supposed to say heptane, actually. Heptane. But it doesn't matter. Please note that, guys, these things they come from my mind, né? This structure and this IUPAC name do not correspond. So let's rename this thing. Let's rename. We must start counting closer to, but actually they do correspond. Yeah, it's 3 propyl. No. We must start counting closer to the side chain, né? This would be our parent chain over there. Are you together? So that would be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So the IUPAC name actual of this compound, it's not the one that was written there. Excuse me about that. I know that at carbon number 4, I have an ethyl. I have an ethyl at carbon number 4. And then the IUPAC, since the parent chain has 8 carbons, the IUPAC name, it will simply be 4-ethyl octane. Oct. Remember that, guys. Oct is the prefix for 8 carbons on your parent chain, right? So that's 4-ethyl octane. Okay, and then for number 28, I simply have 2.4 dimethyl and then 3 propyl heptane. I think I'm making the same mistake. Instead of saying 3 propyl, let's say 4 propyl, so that you can draw this thing properly. I think it will make sense. So I simply have 7 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Eh? 1, 2. So at carbon number 4, I have my propyl over there. And then carbon number 2 and 4. Carbon number 2 and 4. I have my dimethyl over there. All I have to do, guys, is to write down the hydrogens. Now this thing makes sense, né? This is our parent chain over there. Are we together? This will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? At carbon number 2 and carbon number 4, we have this situation over there. So as well as carbon number 4, we have this propyl over there. Remember that, guys, for your side chains, né? Remember that for your side chains. If ever you have 3 carbons, your prefix should be propyl. Are you together? If ever you have 3 carbons, your prefix should be propyl. Please take note of that. Okay. The last two should be, yeah. Please do name the last 2 compounds, guys. No, but you cannot draw. You cannot draw on the comment section. Let me draw for you. Okay. I have pent over there, so I simply have 5 carbons, and then at carbon number 3, I have my ethyls there. That's CH2 and the CH3, CH2 and the CH3, and then at carbon number 2 as well as carbon number 4, CH2, then CH2 and CH2. This thing it should have been 2.4.4. I mean 2.2.4 rather, because we'll start counting. We'll start numbering our carbons from this side. Are you together? Why? Because on carbon number 2, many things are carrying there. If you start from the other side, carbon number 2 will only have one side chain. So this will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Are we together? So I know that with carbon number 3, I'm addressing that statement over there. Carbon number 2.2.4, I'm addressing this statement over there. And then the 5 carbons are being addressed by the last part of the IUPAC name. Okay, now let's go to the last one, isopropane. The last one, guys, is just isopropane. Eh? Excuse me. Isopropane is like this. It's just methyl propane. There's no any other type of 2-methyl propane than this one. Are you together? The IUPAC name, you can write isopropane, you can write 2-methyl propane. You can also write methyl propane. That's up to you. Are you together? Guys, I tried my level best not to make this video long, but I know it's long, but I believe it's worth it. So please, guys, do take your time, watch the video, and you will learn a lot. Bye.